Welcome to my Red Skull Berserker build. This is the fifth build that I upload to the channel, and at this point I would like to ask you for a favor. No, it's not money, don't run away. What I want is your feedback. Let me explain. I've only been playing this game for a bit over 5 months, and I have two working builds that you have seen in my other videos. I have my purple burn warlock that I use for events, and I have my blue elemental shaman that I use for everything else. I use it for adventures, for dungeon farming, XP farming, parties, etc. But the thing is that when I upload a build video, I want to show, don't tell. I obviously talk during the video because I want you to understand how the build works so you can create your own thing. You don't have to copy paste, but create your own unique build. But with other builds, I just don't have enough equipment. So I have to rely on more theory crafting that's showing you a high level build, how it works. So what I want when I say I want your feedback is at the end of the video, please let me know in the comments. Do you want me to upload more videos like this where I theory craft and show you what could be done even if I don't have a working build for this specific class and color? Or do you prefer that I only upload builds that are, well, high level, which obviously will take longer for me, but will be in more detail. So I will really appreciate if you can do that for me. And obviously, if you want me to upload any specific build, except for one class and one color, you know which one, uh, or even that one, let me know and I will do my best. So, first of all, the number one thing you need to do is increase your fire starting mana. I know I repeat myself a lot, but it's true. Let me show you something. This is a red build that I made for PvP. It uses Searing Strike, which is a mercenary only spell, and this spell is basically the Assassin Nightblade, but less powerful. It caps at 8% per red or green gem on the board, instead of the Nightblade that caps out, I think is 9%, no, 10. Um, hmm, Let me check it out in a minute. Here it is, info, 10, 11, 11. Okay, so it's less powerful than the assassin equivalent build. But I was using this in the PvP arenas because I didn't have a working red build. So it just uses 3 generators. One of them is Burning Hands, which also deals fire damage, and then you end up with Searing Strike. Now, if you look at the gear, this gear makes no sense. I mean, most of it, okay? Obviously, I use a bone ring and I use the Flame Tree helm, but every other piece of equipment is here for the only reason that it has fire starting mana. As you can see, I have 80%. I have over 80% because it's overclocked for PvP. So yeah, you can make a build work with just enough starting mana, even if the individual pieces don't make any sense, like in this example. But the build will work. It will not be very strong, but it will work. And then you can start from here, building up to having something better. Now, I already repeated this 100 times, so yeah, start with your fire starting mana. Next, let's talk about spells. There are multiple spells that you can use with a Berserker. You have mana generators, you have skull generators, you have utility spells. So, as you can see, there are a lot of possibilities here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 times 5, that's 20, 21 red spells available for the Berserker. So let's talk first about mana generators. We have Scorching Ray. Convert blue gems to red, all blue gems to red, with a 53% chance to create 6 extra red gems. This value depends on the value of your spellbook, and then the amount of extra gems that it generates depends on the quality or rarity of the spell. So this is an excellent spell to start with as a generator, as well as Channel Fire. Create a number of red gems also depending on rarity, and also has a percentage chance to burn the enemy. This chance again depends on your spellbook level. So these are two base generators that are very good. A third generator that you can use is Burning Hands. This one deals a small amount of fire damage. This is a physical build, so this fire damage is going to be very low, but it also converts, in this case, green gems to red. So it's also a possibility. Another spell that you can use is Split Skulls. This one deals melee damage. Remember that this is the same type of damage that your weapon, um, well, excuse me. This is physical damage, like your weapon, your skull damage will be. And it also creates, in this case, is either red gems or skulls. So another good spell. It only costs 120, which is excellent for the 4th position. So this is something you can start with. As you know from my videos, I like to have more generators than I need when I start, because they are going to be low levels. So instead of generating seven gems, they are going to be generating 3 or 4 each. So when you start, you can start with something like this. Another option is Gravedigger. This is also a great spell to create skulls, and it also destroys a column with a chance to destroy a second column. Also, this chance depends on your spellbook level, and the amount of skulls depends on the rarity. And again, it's a very cheap spell that only costs 115, so you can start with something like this instead. After a while, your spells get better, your equipment gets better. You can replace, for example, Burning Hands with Split Skulls. Play around. Another great spell that you can use is Flaming Skulls. It deals fire damage. Again, it's going to be a small amount due to this build being physical. But if Rage is active, Rage is the ultimate ability for the Berserker. If it's active, let me find it again. Where are you? Yeah, here. If it's active, converts yellow gems to red and purple gems to skulls. Notice that this one is only uncommon, so as you increase the rarity, it creates a ton both of red gems and purple gems. Excellent spell. The only problem is that it costs 275 mana, which is a lot when you start. So as a beginner, I don't recommend using Flaming Skulls. Only use it if you have a solid build that can feed a very expensive spell like this one. Also, if you want to use a utility spell, you have Well of Anger, which increases critical hit damage by a lot. And also, it extends the duration of Rage if it's active. But it's mainly the critical hit damage increase every time you cast it. But again, for starters, I would recommend just go with lots of gem generators, and as you improve, make changes depending on your needs. Again, there are multiple spells that I could talk about, like Cleave, that also deals melee damage. There are many spells that you can use as a red Berserker. Next, let's talk about equipment. And this is quite important. The number one thing you need with a physical build, any physical build, is to increase your base critical hit chance. Here I have improved critical hit damage from my Citadel. Let me show you my Citadel allocation. Here you can see I have plus 33 critical hit damage from my Poison tab. With this build, I recommend you invest in Fire Mastery, even if it's not an elemental build. You can really benefit from higher Fire Mastery with the Runic Mace that I will explain later, and it's all in all a good investment in my opinion. Let's go back here to the gear. So, as I was saying, you want very high critical hit chance. As I said, I have that 33% from the Citadel, and also this weapon has an additional 100 critical hit damage. So that's why I have it. But in order to increase your critical hit chance, in the long run, you want to increase it with attributes. So pick up pieces of equipment that have it, or craft, or transfer, or do whatever you need to have critical hit chance. Remember that the maximum is 80%, and you can have 15.2 on each piece of equipment at max level. So 5 pieces of equipment with critical hit chance will give you 76%. But if you're starting, you can compensate with the track gloves, which is excellent for new players. I don't have a good track gloves. I've been hunting for them for 2 months now, but I only have epic ones, as you can see. So I'm going to keep equip this one as an example. This is, as I said, the epic. It increases critical hit chance by 1% for every 10 speed above 100. Now, I'm going to unequip it. As you can see, at level 50, your base speed will be 163. So you will get 6.3% additional crit chance. Doesn't look like a lot, but if you equip this item together with the runic boots, which I also don't have a high level one, I have these ones, and okay, let's put these ones. This is legendary. Gain 12% speed when I cast a spell, any spell. When you put these two items together, by round 3, if you can start using your spells on round 2, you will have very good critical hit chance. And by round 4, you will be either at 80% or pretty close to it. So these are two excellent pieces of equipment when you start. As I said, later on, you want to have critical hit chance from your equipment, from your attributes. But when you start with this. Next, let's talk about an excellent piece of equipment for generating skulls, which is the Esgard bandolier. This belt converts, this is a mythic, converts 2 to 3 red gems to skull gems when casting a spell. This is very, very powerful. If you cast 5 spells in one turn, because the ultimate spell also counts here, you will be creating between 10 and 15 skulls, which is a lot. However, remember what I said about the spell um, Flaming Skulls, that it's very hungry when it comes to mana? Yeah, if you have this belt, it will cannibalize your red gems, so you may starve yourself. If you find out that you cannot generate enough mana to keep up your spells, just don't use it unless you can upgrade your spells. But if you have high level spells, it's excellent. Next, and well, another item that you can use as well is the Scarlet Flail. It creates skull gems when matching color gems. This one is red, so that is why it's red gems. But if we pick up this one, which is yellow, is when matching yellow gems. This is at the end of your turn, but before you do your physical attack. So you match your red gems, the game will resolve those matches, give you the mana for the next round, and then from the gems that fall down from the top, it will create these skull gems, and they might match and work right at the end of this round. So this is not something that takes effect on the next round, but at the end of your current round. Okay, which is a pretty good piece of equipment. The 2 set bonus increases your healing boost, which is nice if you are using some healing equipment. Uh, because if you use this item together with the belt, you will trigger the 2 set bonus, but it's not something that you need. Next, let's talk about the Runic 2 set. For example, let's pick up this amulet. When you have 2 items of the Runic set, you gain this ability. There is a 75% chance to create 2 skulls when casting a regular spell. Regular spell means it doesn't include your ultimate. It's just your 4 normal spells. But if you cast 4 regular spells every turn, on average you will create 6 additional skulls every turn. Now, same that I said with the Escar Bandolier, and same that I said about the Flaming Skulls. Only do this if you can generate enough red gems. If not, you will be starving yourself. You're shooting yourself in the foot. Okay? These 2 pieces are legendary only, so it's just a 65% chance. Next, you know, in all my builds and in all my videos, I talk about bone rings. You know how much I love them. So slap a bone ring with fire starting mana if you can. This will greatly help you by generating enough starting mana for your build. Another good piece of equipment, a bit rare, but maybe you can find it, is the Flame Tree Helm. This helm gives you 14 starting mana for both purple and red spells. So all your red spells plus 14 starting mana. This one also has fire starting mana, so it helps a lot. Additionally, if you can get 2 pieces of the Dragon Guard set. Remember that these 2 pieces will give you an additional, at Mythic, an additional 12 mana for each one of your regular spells. So more mana. This one also has 5 starting mana, so I'm going to equip it. And yeah, I don't have, I can use this one, for example. It's only epic, but it will give me an additional 8 mana for each one of the base spells. Uh, all these 4 spells that I showed you are relatively low in cost: 130, 135, 135, Gravedigger is 115, and Split Skulls is 120. So they're not particularly expensive spells. So with something like this, you can start. But basically use what you have. Just make sure you have enough fire starting mana to fill out your gems. As you can see here, I already have 70%. Next, let's talk about weapons. You can use pretty much any weapon with this build, really. The Bloodfang weapon has the advantage of increasing your critical hit chance for each red gem on the board. This one is only legendary. The mythical one increases it by 5%, but is color sensitive, as you can see, so it has to be a red one. This weapon, together with the Trark gloves, will give you a very, very good starting um, critical hit chance, but the Trark gloves, every turn that passes on, they increase more and more as you cast more spells thanks to the boots. So this is a good starting option if you have a good Bloodfang Twin Blade. Another good option is the, as I said before, the Esgard Flail, I think is called. Yeah, yeah, the flail that generates skull gems when matching also color gems. Another good option is the guard sword that increases your power. What is it here? Increases, here is a red one. Okay, increases your starting power by 2.5% every time you match red gems. And another one is the royal sword that increases your power every time you match 5 or more gems. Again, these weapons are color sensitive, so if you get a red one, use it. Pretty much any weapon will do. Just look uh, at the attributes. So if it has 5 starting mana, critical hit damage, or critical hit chance, those are good weapons to start with. The other one that I mentioned a bit before when I was in the Citadel is the Runic Mace. I don't have a red one, but this Runic Mace increases your power by a percentage. This is 20% because it's legendary. At mythical, it's 25% of mastery to power. Now, if this is more an end game weapon, but it can, if you have a good red runic mace, put it on, because even as a beginner, will help you out. Now, imagine at end game that you have 10,000 mastery. 25 of 10,000 is 2,500 power, which will make a huge difference in your damage. So that is also a good option. But as I said, equip what you get. Okay. Now, there are 3 sets that have a few good uh, equipment pieces for red sets. The first one is the Firewalker set. And one good piece of equipment from this set is the ring that gives you a 25% chance to create 4 red gems at the start of every turn. 25% is not a lot, but when it triggers, is great, especially if it triggers on round 1. So you can start with this bonus. Again, 25% is not a lot, but it's better than nothing. Also, if you equip 2 items from the Firewalker set, you will get, at mythical rarity, an 85% chance to create a red gem at the start of your turn, which is also very beneficial, including or precisely for round 1. Check out each piece of equipment in this set, and if you have 2 good pieces of equipment, put them on. The next one is the Flame Tree set. I already talked about the Flame Tree Helm, which is a very good starting piece of equipment, and there are other pieces of equipment that may help you. This is a set that gives bonuses to both purple and red spells, and also has some synergies with burning, as you can see with this amulet. So check them out. You may have something good. And also the Dwarven set. Some of the pieces of equipment in this set work well with a red build. The weapon gives you a 25% chance whenever matching a big 5 color gem. As you can see, it's not a lot, but it's better than not having anything. So keep an eye for these 3 sets. I am gonna show you where you can find them. Let's go back. Okay, this is Dungeon 1, Dragonguard Depths. Dungeon number 4 is Clockwork Halls. Here you can find the Dwarven set. And in Caldera Crater, which is dungeon number 6, you can find the Firewalker set. Also, I didn't mention it, the Firewalker Spear is also a good piece of equipment that will increase your critical damage, but again, make sure you have enough critical hit chance to take advantage of it. Here, yeah, add 20% to critical damage for each color gem on the board. Finally, the other set that I mentioned, which is the Flame Tree, is here in Season 1.2. Okay, this is the helm that I mentioned and the different pieces of equipment for this set. But as I said, there are really no essential pieces of equipment. You can mix and match pretty much anything that you have. Just keep in mind that your priority number 1 is to increase your critical hit chance, which, as I said, start with the dark gloves plus the runic boots, and that's a great way to start. Next, work on your critical hit damage, and well, first of all, obviously on your starting mana. Second, your critical hit chance. Third, your critical hit damage. And then put as many skull generators like the Scarlet Bandolier and the 2 runic set as you can afford without starving yourself from mana. Finally, let's talk attributes. What do you want? Just a standard. Uh, Increased starting red mana, increased critical hit chance, increased critical hit damage, power on all of your armor pieces, so your helm, shoulders, chest, hands, legs, and feet equipment pieces. And then for the rest, if you can afford some defensive stats like elite damage protection, although this one is less important, but melee resistance and missile resistance that can give you some survivability. Those are the different attributes. And that is the build. Pretty much that is all I have to say. I can show it in action a little bit, but as I said, this is not a build that I use. So it's going to be pretty bad to start with, but yeah, let's give it a try. Let's see what I can show you and if I don't embarrass myself too much. Oh yeah, also the bone leg um, piece increases your starting armor when matching skull gems, and together with another piece of equipment from the bone set, like here, it also gives you a 75% chance to create a skull at the start of your turn, which is pretty good. Now I'm going to replace this one with the Firewalker ring to see if it procs, and therefore I don't need this armor. So I'm going to pick up this royal armor because it has additional power. And let's go to a fight and see if I don't embarrass myself too much. Um, Battles. Let's go to a dungeon. I don't feel confident that I will be able to do difficulty 10, so let's go for difficulty 7, which is level 85. And as you can see, my power level is pretty low. But let's see if I don't embarrass myself too much. Okay, this is a decent start. We have 4. We have skulls here and here. Okay, all right, not too bad. Now, let's start with the burning hands. Uh, it will deal fire damage and convert green gems to red, which is fine. Did you see that? Did you see that this was going to be a red gem and it immediately transformed into a skull due to the runic 2 set bonus that it procced, or the track uh, um, belt? Oh, no, no, no. Oh, did I put the track belt? No, 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 wait, wait. No, this is the set bonus. Sorry about that. Uh, yeah, the Escar bandolier is the one that I was thinking about. So as you can see, you can starve yourself very easily with this one. Now, this was a very lucky shot because Scorching Ray will transform all blue gems to red, and we have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, which is excellent. But did you see this one transform as well? Next, channel fire. Okay, this is a pretty good amount. And I'm gonna cast Gravedigger. I'm gonna destroy this column and get some extra skulls. Now, this is round 2. I just cast 4 spells, and I want you to look at my critical hit chance. It went up by up to 35%, which is not too bad. End the turn. Let's see if we can get a critical hit. Nope, but that's okay. We're still alive. No problem. Okay, let's move this around. Burning hands. All right. We only got a few blue gems this time. So let's see. Let's use Scorching Ray. Okay, that wasn't too bad. Channel Fire. All right, and Gravedigger. You don't have to cast Gravedigger at the end at all. Okay, now everything. Okay, I can put 1 and 2. Uh, all right, so we got our Rage. Critical hit, maybe. It was too fast. Sorry about that. It didn't show up. All right. Now let's check our critical hit chance. And as you can see, it's 50%. Let's cast the spells. Okay, let's start with Gravedigger. Good candidate for a... Okay, let me undo that one. Let's see. This column has two skulls. Nah, I'm gonna put this one. Okay, that was a lot of skulls. So let's start here. Next, Scorching Ray. Okay. All right. And I cannot cast Barbaric Rage because it's already filled out. I'm going to slow it down to see if we can get a critical hit here. And let's check again. Yeah, we are still at 50% because the bonus doesn't apply until the start of the next run, of the next turn. The speed just increased, but at up to 600, which is the maximum level, but the bonus doesn't apply until the next turn. So let's see how many skulls are those. 23. Okay, critical. Yep, it didn't kill, but it was pretty close. 150,000. Not too shabby. All right, so let's connect this one. I'm gonna pop this column that has 3 skulls. I'm gonna speed up again. Wow, that's a lot of skulls. Okay, yeah. Remember what I said about starving yourself? Huh. Okay, this is not very good. Yeah, not very good. I should have used Barbaric Rage, but the good news is that we know we're going to kill. Okay, uh, our critical hit chance is already at... Oh no, it's still... Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah, I know what happened. I was thinking about the bonus from the mythical track helm, track gloves, but it's only epic, so it only increases by 1%. So yeah, 50% is the maximum I can get because the maximum speed is 600. Sorry about that, I was mistaken. All right, yeah, 36 skulls. Let's see that hit. Ah, yeah, it didn't show up because it killed. All right, no problem. So let's cast this first. Okay, let's use Gravedigger. Let's pop this one with 4 skulls. That was good. Okay, Scorching Ray. All right, and Channel Fire. All right. As you can see, I don't have a good build. This is really mediocre equipment that I have lying around. But as you can see, it does generate a ton of skulls. So this should be a big hit. Let's check it out. 25 skulls. No, 20, 31. All right. Didn't crit. Okay, too bad. All right, so let's use Grave Digger, pop this one. Okay, this, that's pretty good. Let's see if we can get another skull here so we can get a stunning row in case we don't kill. No, it didn't work out. Let's try with this one, see if this one transforms. No. Okay, we don't have a stunning row, but we have a lot of skulls. Let's see. 13, 20, 20, let's see, 20, critical, yeah, 94%, 94,000 damage, sorry. Okay, we're still alive. Fine with that. Yeah, let's pop this one. Oh, and it triggered the second one as well. Burning hands. Oh, yeah, that was a mistake. Okay. It should kill even if I don't get a critical hit. I should be able to kill with this one. Um, yeah, I think so. Let's cross our fingers and see. 23, 33 skulls, 41 skulls, and 314,000 damage. Yeah, and that's the build in action. I'm sorry I cannot show but end game build something better than this, but I think that as an example, it was successful. So this is the end of the video. As I said at the start, I will really appreciate your feedback. Let me know if you want to see more videos that are like this one, a bit goofy, but still, I think, entertaining, or if you prefer that I just stay with only high level working builds. Thank you very much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and yeah, leave me some valuable feedback. See you on the next one.